It is the podcast.
Tuesday, February the 25th. We are almost in March.
March 9th. Time changes.
March 9th?
Uh-huh.
Or was it March 16th?
Oh my goodness, why do you think that?
Maybe March 16th could be this first day of spring, though.
March 9th.
And when's the first day of spring? I could have literally told everyone incorrect.
First day of spring, 2025, March 20th.
Oh, wow. Weird.
What is March 16th? National Panda Day.
Okay, good to know. National Panda Day. You guys thought you were going to miss it? You're not.
And the 290 days remaining in the year. I can't believe it's already Q at the end of Q1.
Yeah.
Feels like it was just Christmas.
I know.
Tell us what this podcast is about other than being an homage to our egos. Unfortunately, guys, I needed some, and thank you so much for leaving reviews on this podcast, and your reviews are more than fair. But one of them was like, this is a grandiose exploration of their own egotistical
narcissism.
Here's what I want to say. The reason why we push the group and the reason why we push the Cookie College and the reason why we push the sponsors is because without those components, this doesn't exist.
And this isn't grade A quality beef.
Oh, no. Your reviews were accurate. I'll let you know. There was no lies.
But we do appreciate you tuning in. What you're tuning into is the Baking It Down with Sugar Cookie Marketing podcast. It is a spinoff from the Facebook group, and there's about 48,000 bakers in there. From that, all right. From that, what we can actually see is trends, customer relation issues, things that people have a lot of questions about, and that's what we can bring to your ear holes each Tuesday, sometimes Wednesdays if it snows.
And I think we're out of the snow threat.
I think we are. Well, I don't know.
Today's going to be 66 degrees today.
I went on a walk.
You won't be able to find me.
The walk yesterday, sun, I felt warmth.
It changes my mood.
Yeah.
I went on an hour and a half, 5-mile walk.
Wow.
My knees aching. You know, you're like, I wonder if I could crawl home. Am I close enough?
Sometimes towards the end of the walk, I'm like, just throw one leg in front of the other.
Maybe I'll get there. We could do. In my 20s, women used to come up to me and they'd be like, you'll regret wearing those high heels. And I was like, no, I won't. They were right.
They were correct.
I regretted it. So jumping into today's podcast, this weekend, Corrie and I drove down to Nashville, 10 hours. We stayed the night and drove back to D.C. the next day.
We literally stayed for dinner and headed on back. But we went to Broadway, the Ryman Auditorium.
We stayed on Broadway, mostly because I know nothing of Nashville, and it was a Morgan Wallen song that said Broadway Girls. We wanted to be Broadway Girls.
Yeah, we were.
We were for about 10 hours.
We were. The amount of sheer bodies in this, I want to say just one square block.
Very interesting. Whatever music row, maybe? I don't know. Wherever Morgan Wallen threw the chair. That was where we stayed.
At Chiefs, which we Googled. And we drove right by it.
And then we went to Morgan Wallen's bar. Nothing makes you feel like you're in your upper 30s, like going to a bar full of 20s.
Yes. That was the people watching Prime.
I said, "Okay, listen." I said, there's a parking garage. I can see it. I can throw this car in reverse. We can park there. If we're there for under an hour, it's $10.
Yeah. I said, let's do it.
Paid the $10, waddled into it, went up 8 stories, looked out, said, oh my goodness, waddled down, and went back to the car.
It was fun.
That's $10 I've ever spent.
Yeah.
On our way, we do not have Buc-ee's gas stations in Northern Virginia. There's, I think, a couple down in Southern Virginia, but they're at least a 3-hour drive for us. And I think there's rumor one might be an hour away that they'll start construction.
When we went to CookieCon once, that was the first time we ever got to witness Buc-ee's in person.
Well, I'd gone when I was dating the guy from Texas,
right.
and I got the original
You
Bucs.
betrayed me.
Yeah. So I told Corey, but our little sister had gone to Pensacola, a college down there, and there's Buc-ee's down there. And she had said, you got to go to these things. So Corey and I went to a Buc-ee's when we went down to CookieCon down in Orlando.
Yeah.
So on the way to Nashville, there was 2 Buc-ee's, but they were both on the Tennessee side of things. So we had driven probably 9 hours, and then there was 2 Buc-ee's of a 10-hour trip. So we stopped at one, and if you know, you know. Obviously, we're preaching to the Buc-ee's choir here, but there was some mark. Corey and I were standing there in the center
of this. It felt like a mall, and we were in a gas station.
Yeah, and we're sitting there, and Corey's like, there's a lot of marketing lessons to be learned here. Now, the big thing about it, anyone can tell you why Buc-ee's works. I would love to have seen the Buc-ee, the first one. The one where, I was watching the McDonald's Brothers, that documentary movie. And I was like, the first one was one where the effort was applied in the right place. And now we can look and be like, wow, this works really well.
Yeah.
So we were standing there and said, this works really well. I could get why people say, we're going to stop at just the Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
So these are the 5 things that we probably took away. And if you could apply these to your business, maybe you can have some Buc-ee's head in your direction.
And you know what? Everyone talks about Buc-ee's. a lot of times you wouldn't wear someone's brand, right? You know, they're not big enough. You're not going to see me.
That's what Corey's question. She said, how does a gas station get so popular that you want to represent it?
Yeah. So everything, they had koozies with the little...
I'm sorry, nothing didn't have the branding on it.
Is Buc-ee's a beaver? Buc-ee's the beaver?
I think so.
Or an otter?
Oh, I think Buc-ee.
Buc-ee's.
What is Buc-ee? I've never used his name singularly. Buc-ee
is...
a chain of gas stations. What is Buc-ee?
Buc-ee's mascot.
The mascot.
It is
Buc-ee the beaver.
Buc-ee the beaver. So Buc-ee the beaver, just standing there and
because the founder's name was Arch Beaver. His nickname was Beaver.
Hilarious.
Applin, the third founder of Buc-ee's, was nicknamed Beaver as a child.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, so Buc-ee's was a lot. You could take a lot away from it if you were able to apply it to your business. You might not be as big as Buc-ee's, but you would definitely.
I think you could capitalize on some of it. It was such an enjoyable experience, although thoroughly overwhelming.
So many bodies.
I never waited for a pump. I just pulled in, got a gas pump, and then I never waited for a spot. Although I thought I would. I did not have to wait for a spot.
Yeah. That you can sell art in a bathroom. Wild.
So my big takeaway, my big thing about why I think it works so well is the efficiency of it. And now that's the shtick. And that's why I also don't think there's Buc-ee's in Northern Virginia, is it has that single or dual strip of gas pumps. And there's so many. And the purpose of that is you don't have to wait to get a fuel pump available.
Yeah. And you know that if you're going to a Buc-ee's, you will be able to gas up right away.
Right. And I really liked that. So in terms of a bakery business, that efficiency component, being able to know if I call this baker, I can go to the website. I get, I have to get my hair cut on Thursday. I have to. I want to. Okay. I'm getting my hair cut on Thursday. I have to do it. I have to get a little balayage. It's so odd. When you think of haircuts in the 21st century, I would say it's online booking. Absolutely not. In fact, I have to call them.
Yeah.
To see if there's availability. And there's no way to reach out to reschedule. I have to call again.
Yeah.
I hate that. I think it's a lack of efficiency. And that's kind of what some of these bakeries, when you take orders through Facebook and there's no website, there's no point of organization.
Yeah.
It's very inefficient, right?
Yeah. A lot of times if people are taking orders from Facebook, not a bad thing to do at all, especially when you're just starting out and the funds are tiny, you don't have a lot to invest. A lot of times I'll see people be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I lost your message, or it got lost in the sauce.
Or Facebook does that weird, cannot message this person, cannot message this person.
So it's not as efficient. It's not, and we were saying trust between two people who don't know each other.
Yeah, because we're always pay at time of booking. So we're taking their money.
Yeah.
But now they're like, what is it?
Oh, sorry, I didn't see this message pop up. It just lacks inefficiency.
I think this business might go out of business like no website.
Yeah.
So efficiency and booking on I liked Hot Plate because it had the text reminders for pickups.
Yeah, which I thought fantastic.
It's nice that it's integrated. You can do that manually. But again, that's all this efficiency thing. When you stay in front of your customers' questions, they're going to trust you so well. That's why I can say, okay, Corey, do you want to stop at Buc-ee's? I won't have to wait.
Yeah. So if you're either there to shop till you drop or in and out, we got to get back on the road.
You're both having a very efficient experience.
Yeah.
Right. So I thought the endless fuel stations, that endless availability, and not saying be endlessly available for cookie orders. What I'm saying is have this booking calendar. I know you can do it in job form. That's how Corey uses it.
I want to say calendar, website that explains everything.
Autoresponder with next steps.
Yeah, if you have an Eddie or you have an edible printer that prints on wafer paper, that allows you to take a lot of those kind of last minute orders so you can be more efficient.
That is also, that's a great efficiency one, just specifically for last minute and large orders.
Yeah, if you do have an edible printer, a lot of people will keep blanks in their freezer, and that allows you to be able to bring them out, thaw them for about 2 hours, print on them, dry them, and they'd be ready to go the next day.
You would be exceptionally efficient. And then there's ways to be efficient in communication. There's ways to be efficient in your website. Sometimes Corey and I will look at a website and we'll be like, there's a lot of information that I don't need here. Yeah. This is a very inefficient website. You got to think when you're writing a homepage of a website, what does the user want to see first?
We were even talking because we're working on the sugar cookie marketing website. You can say too much and you're like, but I'm being efficient. I'm giving you all the information. You can get someone lost where they're like, what are we doing here? But you're like, I'm trying to overload them.
Amount of things you can say to get the user to the answer of their question.
Yeah.
And I think that's hard to do because you're like, well, SEO means words. And then too many words means a bad user experience, but a better robot experience. And too few words means a bad robot experience. So there's that, compromise. And you can do that with imagery. Again, not SEO, but that's the user. Or you can do that with good text. And then you can H1, H2 text.
I want to say there's a little sacrifice for both.
Everything in life is a compromise.
It is. It is. At the end of the day, we want the robots to be happy, so we rank higher. But we also need the buyers to be happy, so our bank accounts grow higher.
So there's too efficient where you're always available, but you're suffering because you're working until 2 a.m. But then there's the not efficient enough where it's really hard to see if you're available.
Yeah.
You're, using Facebook Messenger and you're sloppy on your replies and you're not collecting additional information for contact and you're forgetting orders because you're writing them down on a pad of paper, not using Asana, or you're just, scattered on note taking. Efficiency. Corrie added this. Oh no, I added this one. When you go to a Buc-ee's, it's like a threat if you're a semi truck.
There's a sign it's a truck and it says no.
Endless signs for no trucks. And I think that there's a marketing lesson there. There's some orders you shouldn't take. There's some products you shouldn't sell because it stifles the optimization. And the reason why I think it's no trucks is trucks are hard to move. They're hard to park. They're hard to maneuver. They're hard to maneuver around. Yes, and I think it would boggle down the efficient lanes of getting the cars in and getting them out of there.
Yeah.
So every Buc-ee's, when you're in that little one turn lane in, because they all seem to be designed the same way, it has those no truck little billboards.
Sign, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think that in terms of bakeries, and we talk about this, not every order is a good order.
And not every customer is a good customer. Just because someone wants to give you the money to you, it doesn't mean that they fit your business model.
But you'd be like, but our business is making money. We're in the business of making good money.
Yeah.
Not bad money. And when you when you're trying to appeal to everybody, I always say, if you appeal to everybody, you already appeal to nobody. Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
So you see that you can always see it. Somebody's like, my menu has 37 items. And because I want to offer sourdough, but when I do sourdough, I can do pancakes, I can do this, I can do disc, I can do this, I can do that. And then I want to do cake pops, but then I do cake sickles, and then I can do cake balls, and then I have sugar cookies, but I want to make sure that they have different. And then it's just overwhelming. You are not optimized for the orders that probably have the biggest margin. And there's orders that you want to take, but then there's these orders with the best margins.
Yes.
And again, the compromise there. You could sell your soul to the best margin orders and suffer.
But I want to say, okay, I decided when I was going to do cake pops, they're always going to be round, covered with sanding sugar. I'm not a character cake popper, but at the end of the day, when I was first getting cake pops, everything was so fun. I bought so many molds. Do you know how much molds cost?
No.
And if you're making a mold,
are you going to keep that a secret?
Huh?
Are you going to keep
$1
that
bazillion.
Oh.
They add up very much. So if you were like, oh, clouds for baby showers, a carrot for Easter, you're spending a lot of money. Right. And if cake pops aren't your bread and butter, you're wasting.
You're going to try to sell the bread and butter too.
Yeah, but then someone's going to be ordering and they're going to be like, well, I really liked if it had a rainbow on it. And that's the one mold I don't have of the ones I've already wasted my money on.
The next sentence should be, hey, thank you so much. I actually don't offer shapes in terms of cake pops, but what I can do is a sugar cookie in that shape. Again, drawing them back to that optimized order for your business. We see some people are like, yeah, I don't really like the royal icing game. I don't like icing bleed. I don't like mixing it. I'm a drop cookier. That doesn't mean you should suddenly now offer sugar cookies. That means you're the drop cookier. Yeah. Be the best drop cookier there is.
And when someone comes for the royal icing sugar cookies, when the semi truck comes to fill up the gas, you're going to be like, we're just not the spot for you. But here's a spot that is more targeted for you. They have showers. They have big diesel places.
The roofing thing is really hot.
They love you.
You can sleep in your truck over there.
So it's okay to narrow your business down so you have a targeted niche of an audience that looks at you and says they are the best at what they do. Instead of they offer everything, it's hit or miss what you're going to get.
Consider this. We were on the road forever in a fuel inefficient car, so I had to stop for gas considerably. We only had the two Buc-ee's, right? And the Buc-ee's were oddly within 50 miles of each other, so I didn't need to stop at both. I could only stop at one. But the rest of the time, I'm like, well, we're flying blind on quality gas stations here. So usually kind of navigate to Sheetz. It's like a safe bet.
Sheetz is our Buc-ee's.
It's what we're attempting to be a Buc-ee's. Wawa's, but it doesn't come any further south. So I was like, but okay, then there's gas stations where you know they're optimized for trucks.
Yeah.
And it always says on the little roadside sign, it says diesel 24 hours, and then sometimes it mentions sleep.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, that. Have you ever stopped in a passenger vehicle, a little car, in a truck-centric gas station.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, because you're like, I am not supposed to be here.
Yes.
I'm amongst the big boys. I am not.
And I am a little boy.
And please, little boy, big boy, don't step. I'm a little boy. So then you go there and you're like, what? You got places to sleep.
Yeah.
You've got places to shower. You've got like truck supplies.
Yeah.
You can buy the CB radio thing. Like,
Yeah.
Hey guys, what are
Like
we doing?
they have like deodorant,
Yeah.
shaving cream. It's not for the person just
you
driving
can kind of
through.
say they're like, we don't want you guys
Yeah.
because we make more money on the sale to these trucks, right? So it's kind of that optimized. You may say, well, I don't want to turn down this order. And the good salesperson would try to get that person to switch to
Yes.
yours. But in the event that they don't, I can see when Corrie regrets that she does that. Can you just try?
Yeah, when I used to sell cars, it was always sell what is on the lot. And sometimes people would come and they'd be like, I'm really looking for a Mercedes SUV. No Mercedes SUV. And I'd be like, what about that SUV is something you like? Is it a sunroof? Because I got about 40.
The CX-7 has a sunroof.
So it's selling what you're good at, selling what you have, not testing on this audience or sacrificing the quality that you're branding to make it fit for someone else. Someone asked for cakesicles once. I want to say, you people who make cakesicles, do you walk on water? How does it feel to be God's favorite?
They're the big boys looking at the little boys.
It was impossible. And I said, these are so difficult. I am not necessarily proud of what I did. I don't want to stick my name on there.
But now you're processing refund and you not only lost your money, you've lost the time. So you're operating at a net loss here.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
Optimized, no trucks. And then I think Buc-ee's was like, listen, we're not, and they didn't even say like, we're sorry. It's just like, no truck picture.
I know. Yeah.
Okay. I had a client once and he said, if I made what everyone said they'd buy from me if I made it, I'd have a ton of products and no sales. So you have always be like, and I think that's that. You know, like, okay, if I don't want to go, if you invite me somewhere and I don't want to go, I'm not going to say, I don't like hanging out with you. Instead, I'm going to be like, let me check my schedule.
Yeah.
And I would love to, but I just have to see if I'm free when I know very well I am free and I don't want to go. I think people, when they don't want to buy from me, they're like, oh, if only you sold this thing, I definitely would be in. So I'll wait till you sell that. And that's their way of saying no. I know. It signals to the business owner, if I only
we got to offer this and then we'll for sure have this sale. And that's what I see some people do. I'll see them sell in a group, right? And someone will be like, but do you have a gluten-free sourdough? And they'll be like, no, but it's something I might be working on. They're like, well, let me know when you have gluten-free.
And then you're like putting all this effort into gluten-free and you're like, and they're like, yeah. Well, they just don't reply. So kind of consider that. If you have a really bloated menu already, what I would recommend is go through and see what hasn't sold at all and just get rid of that. A chopping block immediately. Go back through your orders and see what sold once or twice in 2024. Yeah. Get rid of that immediately. Yeah. Go and see what sells the most and see if you can squeeze that down to, let's say you could take it baby steps. Let's say you trim it down to 10 products. Yeah. Let's say you work and then maybe in a couple months we trim it down to 7. And
I think that's a really good, hearty offering.
Right.
Yeah.
I would be the big takeaway is humans are we think we want more. We actually don't want to lose what we have, right? Yeah. So we're loss averse. When given the option for many options, we now face the fear that we will not pick the best one. Yeah. That creates a loss aversion and we end up picking nothing because it's better to not have lost anything than to have gotten something in some. So I told Corrie the other day, in the event that there's 2 products to choose from, I have a 50% shot that I'll pick the best one for me. Yeah. But if there's 10 products to choose from, I only have a 10% chance of picking the best one for me. I'd rather not take that risk. Yeah. I'll get nothing.
Yeah. I want to say, sorry, there's a cat meow. Really throwing me. That's a cat meow. Heather has gotten a new cat. R.I.P. to the other one.
Okay. It was a kid. Yeah. And that was why I went to Nashville. And the cat meows.
He is
and Corey's like, this is causing me a lot of stress. I said, we have 10 hours of this.
I know. I haven't been in the world of kittens and baby dogs in a while.
I said, I'm going to need you to dial in.
I dialed it.
I'm driving, so we need you dialing.
Because I'm an empath and my heart goes out to the meow.
Dial in to this cat is crying. But we ended up doing pretty well with the 10 hours together.
We did.
Obviously, did not like being put away for the podcast.
He did not.
Okay, Corrie has this one. And this is, if you've been to a Buc-ee's, if you haven't, you should go. Cleanliness and organization.
Oh, yeah. We were talking to a lady yesterday and we were like, she was like, how was your trip down Nashville? And we were like, oh, it was really good. We stopped at Buc-ee's. And she's like, oh, we plan our trips around Buc-ee's gas stations.
I told her we passed 2 and didn't need to stop a second. She's like, I will stop at them regardless.
You know what she likened it to? she likened the restrooms there to the Bellagio.
She said they're nicer than this lady was much wealthier than we were.
Yeah.
She was like, they're nicer than all the casinos I go to.
Which and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to vacuum my house every day.
Right.
But if a customer is coming over and has the potential to walk in, some of them have, I have to be ready for that and I have to clean.
In spring, Corrie and I always do a podcast on sprucing up the, what do we call it?
Spring clean?
Yeah, what do you call a curb appeal?
Yeah.
And it goes a long way. Because, okay, why do you go to Buc-ee's? For fuel.
For fuel.
I need a gas, right? But then you say, for food. Okay, but everything's really clean. And I said to Corrie, what I've noticed walking into the restrooms and walking to the soda station, because obviously I have to get a Diet Coke, is the redundancy in terms of efficiency. So every Coke machine, of which there was 50,000.
Well, that's our next topic is efficiency, I do believe.
No, we had already passed. That was number one. And less fuel stations.
Oh.
But at the cleanliness. So like when I went to the bathroom, there's the paper towel roll here. There's a paper towel roll here. But there's a third paper. There's 2 sinks. There's 3 paper towel rolls.
There's also a dedicated person.
Whatever that is.
That's amazing.
Right. So, but remember, Buc-ee's at one point put money in the right place. It invested it in the right place. So now that there's a dedicated person who manages this bathroom, and it shows.
Yeah. Sometimes if you go to an off the beaten path restroom at a gas station.
Wait, okay, listen. If I have to ask a guy for a key that has a fuzzy little animal on it, I'm gonna leap.
One time I asked for a key, it was attached to a feather duster. Mm-hmm. And I said, this going to the bathroom isn't what
we went around and Corrie had to go, but when you're desperate, you'll pick up any stick and use it.
You'll do a lot of that I will never do.
In the option of, and I think bakers can take this too, in the option of, let's say somebody has hired 2 bakers.
Yeah.
And one of you was just really, your house was clean, your kitchen was clean, your clothes were clean, you were nicely dressed when they showed up. And the other person was disheveled. There was toys in the yard. The door doesn't open all the way. Yeah. Everything which do you think the client will call again?
When someone says that, it's just the industry is oversaturated. If we're all working with sugar, flour, and butter, the minor differences that's going to have
that's where competition wins.
Absolutely. So if we're all making the same cookie cutters because we all shop from the same shops, they all look the same. The things that are going to put you one step ahead, that's someone's going to choose you over who you think is oversaturated in the market. It's going to be that curb appeal. It's going to be your efficiency. It's everything on this list.
Yeah.
That's going to be what differentiates you. It's not that there's just so many bakers. No, you can take someone's market share just by being a little bit better. Your packaging's a little bit better. You're a little bit cleaner. Presentation, efficiency.
Yeah.
Photos look better.
Organization. Yeah. If someone, if I have to use a business and I don't get a reminder about an appointment, I'm like, I don't feel safe. I don't think you know that I know that we're supposed to meet.
Because then I'm reaching out to you and be like, hey, we're on our way.
Yeah. Are you guys expecting me to drop my car off? Are you guys expecting me to come for this appointment?
Right. Yeah. So I want to say it's good to have people in your industry because that means you have a viable industry.
Right.
If people are falling out of the industry, that means people are like not buying sugar cookies. So people love to complain.
Competition is good.
Yeah.
Market saturation is an excuse. I think it's competition and they're doing something better and it feels like saturation to you because you've let them gain your market share.
One thing we learned on our 10-hour drive is every time you take an exit, there are 6 choices of gas stations.
Yep.
You talk about
fuel inefficient.
You talk about being like over like the industry is
if cookies are saturated, gas stations are drenched.
And that's why Buc-ee's is such the one that people choose because
Buc-ee's is not the oldest gas station.
No,
especially in Virginia where it is brand new. But how can we say gas station is saturated? Because every exit has 5 or 6 or 10. But Buc-ee's is still able to take market share. And that's what I think. And I was reading a thread in another group and someone's like, well, it's just market saturation. It's not, because there was more bakers in times of COVID than there are right now. There's more bakers leaving than are coming. So it's not a saturation thing. It's a competition thing.
It's the Exxon and the BP saying, you know what, people are going to stop here because they need gas. So don't care if the bathrooms get a little dirty.
Closest to the exits and entrances from the interstate, but we're old and gross.
Yeah. And they're thinking,
I don't stop at a BP. Blame the oil spill and then blame that disgusting bathroom.
But what they're thinking is people need gas. They're going to stop here. They always stopped here. So you know what? We're going to clean a little less. You know, our pumps aren't going to work as efficiently.
Right.
We're going to put a cone out and hopefully people understand that it's not working. And Buc-ee's came in.
And Buc-ee said, listen, you guys better shape up or you will be run out of business because we are going to be better, faster, stronger, and clean.
Yeah, but Buc-ee's could have looked at Exxon and BP and been like, market saturated. They're already there.
You know, there's too many gas stations. Everybody's getting gas.
Yeah, but it's just coming in. And I think if you could change your mentality, instead of being like, oh, it's so slow because other people are selling, to be like, I'm going to up my packaging a little bit more. I'm going to respond to every comment that I get on my social profiles and build a relationship. I'm going to
optimize my website to be the most efficiently welcoming website, which we'll talk about welcoming in a second. The best website, the website where all the information is needed and it's put in a place that it should be. I'm going to be the nicest baker they ever speak to. Their emails are going to be replied to the fastest. Yeah. I think you are a force to be reckoned with. When you stop sitting back and blaming market saturation and you start optimizing, people are gonna be like, darn it.
Yeah. And I wish that if there's some one thing you take from this podcast, it isn't that your market's too saturated. It's that I am not the best baker in Northern Virginia.
Corrie and I were talking. Corey's like, I'm not the best baker, but I am the most efficient in this. Corey's like, I have a niche. A niche. And I optimize so well within that. I'm never going to be the best, but I can be the best at this, that, and the other. Yeah. And it makes me the best baker overall.
Right. And
because some of these people are painting faces that look exactly like celebrities.
It's so out of my realm of even comprehension.
Yeah, what are you seeing that I can't see? How are you?
It's when artists, and everyone's an artist who's a baker, I get that. When an artist who can paint on canvas enters the market.
You're like, let me just try it on cookies.
Okay, you know what? I like my little leprechaun face.
So you can always say, I'll never be the best. And then there's so many other people that are better than me. Be the best at replying.
Yeah.
Be the best review getter. Google sent out an email yesterday. I was like, stop asking for reviews.
Yeah. Why would they want you to stop asking for it? It literally
it's like you need to also accept negative reviews over my dead
There's a button that says ask for reviews, and it's literally a link to share to send it to people. I don't know what that was for.
I think they were like, we're going to go and draw.
We're going to do my reviews.
So this one I also thought. So we did efficiency, optimization, cleanliness, and organization is one because that place is clean.
Clean.
This is not even on the list. Any bathroom, any woman's bathroom that has a door that goes all the way up, and I don't see the feet of the people next to me.
Where I have privacy,
yeah. They had a little gap here, and I'm like, that's understandable. You don't know if something's overflowing, and I'll allow it.
Yeah.
But the fact that the wall goes to the ceiling, and it's sealed, and I see
when I go into BP and I can make eye contact with the person outside.
When I can see the person waiting for the stall, I'm in.
When the little kid pops through and is looking at me,
when I have to see the feet there. I said no. But this one had the hand sanitizer in there, had the little toilet cover in there, had endless amount of toilet paper in there. Yeah. Like it was just ready to go. And as soon as you unlock the door, a lady looks in. Do you need to clean anything up? No.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Also, back to the efficiency, the vacant, not vacant.
I loved that.
Genius. It solved the problem of somebody had to play air traffic control.
One time we did go to Buc-ee's and it was an air traffic controller in there. And she was, because people are like, I don't know. I don't want to make the rounds and there be no.
Yes.
She was like, we have 2, 1.
You left.
There.
Now.
Go. Yeah.
Safety exits are on the right and towards the front.
She was getting in because in the bathroom, Buc-ee's makes $0.
That's where they make all their money.
But you're not spending any money in there. If she can get you in and out of the bathroom, you're going to go shopping.
Yeah. Here's one thing I was thinking about Buc-ee's. Their entrance to the bathroom are really wide for the line that could form.
Yeah.
And okay, when you go to Tyson's Mall and there's that bathroom that always has the line and it's too hard to see around, it creates this bottleneck because they're like, are you in line? Are you in line? Are you? This one is like, we got coming and going, we got entrance and exit, just wide areas. And that's why I think Buc-ee's takes up so much space. And again, why it's not in Northern Virginia.
My one feedback for Buc-ee's though, while the artwork, gorgeous, 2 ladies were shopping the artwork while I needed to be in a bathroom. And I was like, man, bobbing and weaving.
Was this an art studio? Yeah, it was great. Oh yeah, Heather Campbell Berkshire was like, "Do you guys not need a nugget dealer?" Sorry, there's none of these in Northern Virginia.
It was a 9-hour drive.
Because everyone who thought that this was in Northern Virginia, send us your Buc-ee's gifts.
We did love Buc-ee's.
Okay, merchandising. Corey and I went to the chip section, which is probably just sacrilege.
Absolutely,
we should have gone to the sandwich section, but.
Corey pointed this. Soaking it all in.
Corey said, I find it interesting. Buc-ee's has no place to sit. And I said, because I don't think they want you to stay. I think they want you to get it and get on the road. That's where their money's made. That efficiency again. If we had 3 tables, it would cause such a bottleneck because there's 50 families at any given time in this Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
So they're like, don't offer any tables.
Yeah.
Offer the food and then be your cars, your ticket.
That's what Nothing But Cakes They're like, there's no place to sit. Someone, is there silverware?
Nothing but cake seems to give a fork. I'll eat it in my car. I don't mind.
True, but them not letting you do that so you don't stand out.
They don't want you in there.
It's probably alleviating a cleaning position because just imagine kids, there's so much to eat there. Spills.
Increase in trash, increase in mess, increase in turnover.
Yeah.
Or decrease in turnover because people are staying
because you'd be staying longer.
So merchandising. Corey and I did not get the steak lunch because I didn't let her eat in my car.
It's a gamble. What your belly's going to feel like.
When's your next Buc-ee's available? Maybe if we went to the first one, the second one. But I was like, every chip bag here is pushed to the front and fluffed. Like I said, it's like nobody has been in this aisle yet.
Yeah.
But look at all these people. There's probably been thousands of people in this Buc-ee's just this morning.
But it looked like no one had bought a chip before.
Every chip, like when you can see that, when you go to the grocery store, Walmart basically, it's where I live and eat and breathe. You go and you'll be like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 5 people need a ketchup before me because that's how many products. This one, every single product was brought to the front. It looked fresh. It looked new. It looked like nobody touched it.
It did.
The options were endless. So the merchandising, making that product look the best.
That's the presentation part if you're a home baker.
So it comes down to like that photography. I think when we bring it back to the home baker is like that photo looks like this. You spent your heart, mind, soul, body, blood, tears, sweat on this cookie. And it's the best one. Like I am I can't help it. Like if you drop your car off at like a mechanic shop and they take a picture of it. Yes. And they're like, oh, so happy Heather brought it. And I'm like,
yeah.
And I think the same thing happens when your clients see the picture of their bakes on your Facebook.
Yeah, what's so funny is, and Heather knows, and I don't know if this is good or bad. Sometimes I want my content, I make it work for me. So I might not post someone's set for a few months that they'd bought, but they will circle my page.
I can't help but feel like that was me and you.
That was us. But I'll see these people that have placed an order, they'll circle my page. They might not ever comment, but when they see their set being posted, they're like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's for the digital side. Merchandising for you guys at the farmers markets and who do the pop-ups and the vendor shows. I think you can all learn that. Make it look fresh. Make it look brought to center. Yeah. I can see some of your guys' displays and compliments to you because that's always hard to come up with. Is it stacked? So it's welcoming. It's bringing people in. Your branding is there.
Yeah.
Nothing screams, I don't care, like just a folding table under a tent.
Yeah. And you know what? We all start somewhere and you learn a lot.
Yes.
But if you can skip over the learning part and realize like when cookies are flat themselves and they lay flat on a table, someone to be able to see it would have to approach you. And in this
Did this stop falling?
No, he's still going. Okay. In this century that we live in, people want to see before they buy.
Yes.
And in social medias and online sales has really made us comfortable with being able to see it before we buy it. When everything lays flat and you have to approach someone and then I'm like, oh, I'm in this
what if I see it and I don't like it, but I'm already there?
So then it's merchandising by being able to present your product Samples. In a way that people want to buy it and they feel inclined to come closer to see it.
Yeah. I think when Corey walked in, Corey's like, something smells really good. And I was like, that right there, that was by design, right? So they had the steak thing in the center. They have the fudgy thing off to the left. One thing we didn't add is Buc-ee's signage is very funny.
It's hilarious.
Instead of like low-key good fudge, it was like high-key best fudge. They said it's not the destination, it's the jerky. And I was like, those are so funny.
Yeah. That's their branding,
I think one of them was like 78 miles. You can hold it. And I was like, wow, that really is very approachable. Yeah. And then when you get to the store, and this is the last one, it's so approachable, welcoming. Corey and I, there's a lot of entrances to a Buc-ee. I was like, a park at the front, but I'm not sure which one is the front. They all look like the front. As soon as you walk in, there's these, again, back to the efficiency, these really long checkout lines, and there's checkout lines everywhere.
Yeah.
And then, but Corey was like, we're like, I parked, there's a beaver. And then it's all of a sudden here, welcome to Buc-ee's. I'm like, oh, hey, thank you so much. And it's a smile on their face. And I'm like, this is the 1,000th time you said that.
Yeah. And Buc-ee's didn't come up with that. If you ever went to Moe's, the restaurant.
Welcome to Moe's.
Welcome to Moe's. That's how they did it. So Buc-ee's was willing to look around and say, we like that. We like this. We like this.
We're going to take all the those
in and really optimize what our gas station can give to people.
Buc-ee's is bright. Everything is welcoming. The people are smiling. Their shirts are red. A beaver came out. He popped up and he could take pictures.
He looked famous. He had a bodyguard. People were taking photos with her.
There was an enamel Buc-ee's out front. You could take a picture with. It was just very, very welcoming. In a world where it could be very, very overwhelming. It was overwhelming. It was very welcoming.
And you're like, girl, it's everything you say. It's cost so much time and money. Here's what I'm already doing. What I'm thinking about for my own little curb appeal is I'm now researching places that can do, what is it when you pressure wash my front porch, because over the winter it's gotten a little drab and dreary. Yeah, and I do my own like replacing of the mulch.
Remember, like Corey does the vanilla candle.
I do the vanilla candle. It doesn't have to be so overwhelming. There's just a few things that you can change easily.
It's very welcoming. That can be welcoming in your correspondence.
Yeah,
that's one I think people kind of suffer from, especially when things go sideways. We all of a sudden see those formality. Thank you for requesting this refund. Before thy is considered thy refund, thou must, and it'd be like, hey, oh man, I hate that happened. Let me ask you a couple questions to see if we can figure out what went wrong. And I think that welcoming, even in times of trial and tribulation, is a very differentiator. Like I'm taken care of with these people, even when things are not right.
What's great about Buc-ee's is I've never had an issue with Buc-ee's, but I feel like when I go in there, they've made me feel confident that any issue I would have, they'd be there to at least come up with a resolution that was beneficial to both of us.
Right.
Whereas sometimes when I go into a BP and I'm like, well, your building just dropped down on my car a little bit because you didn't maintain it. What do? And they're like, I don't know.
Corey and I pulled off the highway and I said, you got 3 gas stations to the right, 3 to the left. And I was like, I'm going to close my eyes and we're going to go to the right. And there was a BP, right? And I was like, this isn't it. So I made a U-turn in their parking lot. I said, I hope they witnessed this happen because I am going across the street.
Yeah. And we're talking about something that's so easy as a gas station can be a turnoff. Like, you need gas. What you're selling is a luxury item that people don't need.
So you actually have to try it. BP can still be around because we have to get fuel, right?
Yeah.
If you're one of those people who goes, and I'm not this person who waits till the light comes on, you're going to stop at anything.
Yeah, you're going to have to.
This car has little squares.
Yes.
I'm a 3 square girl. At 3 squares, I start my eyes. At 2 squares for stopping.
Yeah. Mine's it says 30 miles still empty. I'll go when it turns yellow.
Usually it comes in on 30 miles. So then you'll stop at 30.
That's where I am.
Right. And then there's you guys who are like 9, 8, 7, 6. Who are you? You are my worst nightmare. You're at the BP. You're BPing at the BP.
You're keeping BP going. But it's just, Buc-ee's is just like an anomaly to me. It's the neatest thing I've ever seen. I don't even mind that there's a crowd there. I want to be a part of the crowd because I want to.
It's almost like we're all in the club.
Take the snippet.
In the clear real.
We're Buc-ee people.
Yeah. And, it was just fascinating. We stood there for a minute. We're like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like people are doing their weekly grocery shopping.
You could. You'd be like, listen, I'm going to get this for my grandma for Christmas. And then I'm going to get this for myself now. And then I'm going to buy this thing for my car.
I know.
They had those lawn chair seats like for soccer moms, but it was 2. And of course, like, you want to sit in it? I was like, please do not sit in this, Corey.
Never mind. What's funny is because of the way that they have positioned the inside, their merchandising, the way they set up, people were touching things to buy that they would have never thought to buy
Corey
before.
And I were like, do we want these cookies? And she's like, you don't even like that flavor. I said, I don't know. I'm compelled.
Yeah, I was like, I think
it's right here.
Pineapple slices. That was not even a figment of my imagination.
Corey literally picked up a packet of pineapple, and I was like, not in my car, you don't. I watched her spill everything when she got in that car. But here's the thing. When all of this stuff works, the business model works, because you guys know what Buc-ee's is, even if you haven't gone away, right? It's such a word of mouth thing because it's so good in every direction that you're like, wow, this is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I got to tell somebody about this. So I've only been to Buc-ee's initially against my will. I did not know where I was being taken. There was a hood over my head. They revealed, they're like, you're at Buc-ee's. Where am I? Everyone's so nice.
Beaver was standing over saying, where were you the last time
you're going to get yourself some pineapple slices. And that's why I think when everything is dialed in, you don't have to be the best. You can just be the greatest still.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that Buc-ee's food was the best. I don't know. It was better than BP's.
It's refreshing to know you don't have to be an actual artist on royal icing and painting
to be able to be
successful.
Right.
It's so...
These components level the playing field. There are people who will always be better than you And everything. And if you make pizza, I will not be the best baker. I'll do my best, but I will not be the best. I am not capable of that.
Yeah.
But these things, I will rock socks.
Yeah. And I think that, and knowing that the market there can be a baker in every house next to you, and you still can be the most successful one, feels so reassuring.
Yeah.
That even if your neighbor starts selling, it's okay.
If a guy had a number 6 here. Buc-ee's is great, and there's still somebody out there that'll complain and make it their identity. I don't stop at them. They're too overwhelming. You cannot please everybody. This podcast is free, and people are like, I still have things I don't like.
Absolutely. And you know what? That is okay. And that is why there's more than one podcast. There's more than one gas station. And there's more than one baker.
And just because maybe this other baker is really good at all these things, but somebody's not going to like them. They're going to find something not to like about them, and they're going to like you instead. And hopefully they're not mean.
Sometimes people take that to heart. That one bad review, they take it to heart. They want to close down because of it.
But you have people don't like Buc-ee's.
Yeah, you have to see. You have 24 people that did leave you a positive review, and countless ones that just don't like to leave reviews who still love you.
Right, who listen in. Like, okay, I had to pull up Apple Podcasts because we're working on the website, and I was getting some of your guys' reviews that were nice. And some of the reviews were like, I don't like their faces. Oh, yeah.
Listen, most of the days I don't like my own.
So I looked in the mirror as well, and I got agree. It wasn't that bad, but I was thinking, like, it's so easy to be like, I can't believe, I sent Corey. You know what I didn't send Corey? The positive reviews.
Yeah.
I was like, can you believe I said this? And I was like, and then I texted her, and I was like, we got to remember that it's rated at 4.8 stars, and it doesn't even need that.
Yeah.
That's
and I said, at the end of the day, it's a free podcast. You can listen, and you don't
have to, and you can have your opinion. You're allowed to like and not like something. You're even allowed to leave feedback wherever you want. And the same with a baker. Like, don't let that bad review take you to your knees. Don't let it make you quit.
Don't let the neighbor that is starting to sell baked goods be the thing that drives you to close down.
I can see that. I teach classes, and I gave them a recipe, and now someone's selling. Like, great. You made their money, though. You got their money. They were going to sell anyways, but you got some of that money.
Yeah.
So don't let the negative feedback, let it adjust you. Let it be like, hey, is this something we can incorporate?
To me, your competition keeps you sharp. It really keeps you fine-toothed to really go back.
Do you think BP has to try a little bit harder now that Buc-ee's is taken? Absolutely.
And if they don't, BP will close down.
Right.
Me and Heather hate doing websites. We do them all the time. We're redoing our own website. I want to tell you, the reason why we have to redo it is because our other website,
other people's are better.
Other people's are better. And that's it. If we were like, well, theirs is better, just give up now.
You know what? Yeah, we can't. No. We can be like, sorry, gap analysis. Going through these other websites, I'm like, wow, shoot, this is nice. This is better than Let me take notes. Or like, oh, this I didn't like, so let me optimize that here. And that's absolutely free, fair play.
Yeah.
And that's what you should do, because guess who wins? Your customers.
For sure. And the industry itself wins too. It becomes better as an industry when the bakers are doing the best they can in every avenue they can.
Yeah. Competition keeps everyone sharp.
Yeah. One day we're going to do another podcast we had to deal with a lady who was the worst of no one. So she had zero competition. She was not a baker. She was crazy lady.
Crazy lady. But we said, wow, this is such an experience where we typically walk away, but there's no other option. Yeah. So she's allowed to be the worst experience, which is the opposite of bakers. And especially if you think market saturation's thing, you've got to be the best option. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't mean you have to be the best there ever was. It means you just have to be better than what there is. And that's a freeing thought.
Yeah, a freeing thought.
So just to recap, efficiency, optimize, cleanliness, merchandising, welcoming. And then not everyone likes Buc-ee's. So
and you know what? There's BP's and Sons for
this is luck to you
guys. Yeah, I don't know. Buc-ee's it's an experience. I really, truly do love going.
It's a wild experience. Yeah. If they make one here, I almost guarantee people will journey to it.
Yeah, they're planning to make one in Stafford. If you want to know how far, that's about an hour-ish away from us.
Yeah, I don't think this area is conducive to that because it's on the interstates. You can't just have a Buc-ee's on the interstate here.
I want to say the Buc-ee's weren't in giant towns. They were in smaller pull-offs.
Yeah, it's like the big towns, they were like, this is taken. Yes. We're going to go to the smaller and have it's just a massive land.
And I don't know if the land is...
Could you imagine the cost of a Buc-ee's plot of land in Northern Virginia?
Could you imagine how many Nova people would go to Buc-ee's?
You're looking at one.
Two.
Yeah. So that was a really interesting experience. And I'm glad we got to experience it. That was a crazy drive, 10 hours down, 10 hours back, screaming. And he's finally...
More Broadway girl.
Run away. Is it Morgan? But someone's like, what if Morgan Wallen throws a chair at you? I said, I'll catch it.
We saw 0 famous people. 0 famous people were seen.
We saw a lot of girls on bachelor parties and a lot of 20-something boys.
Yes, we did.
Get girls on bachelor parties.
Wow. The people watching Prime.
If we could have gotten that chair from Morgan Wallen and put it on the side of the road and just watched.
One more, please. Thank you.
I love you. Yeah. So that was interesting. But that takes us through this. So the Cookie College, again, mastering our ego. No, it's what supports this. And thank you to the people who are members of the Cookie College. We're working on it. The next class, the Cookie Class Kit, will drop on March 7th. It is a Mother's Day theme.
Mother's Day theme. And actually kind of is like a puzzle. So it's a floral Mother's Day. Not build a set. It's like there's flowers. It kind of looks
cohesive together when it's laid in a certain way.
Yeah. A great gift for Mom on Mother's Day.
So if you're like, what is a Cookie Class Kit? It's everything you'd need to set up, teach, and organize a class. You purchase the cutters from our partnership with Sweet Pink Olive. She has some deals there for you. And you bake up the dough and then you teach the class. But it's the PowerPoint. It's how to decorate the cookies. It is all the promotional materials you need. So, and it's my spreadsheet of how I use to plan our cookie classes, which we sold out of the Easter one already.
Oh, nice.
That Easter class that we're teaching here locally, we taught it. It was a Cookie Class Kit in 2023.
Yeah.
So if you're like, well, maybe I don't want to do a Mother's Day class. I want to do an Easter class. How do I get that class? It's much cheaper when you just sign up for the Cookie College. So instead of signing up for the class kits, which is just our 2025 classes, the Cookie College is every class we've ever taught. Yeah. So that's 2023, 2024, and 2025. You're looking at about 27, 28 classes. Yeah. In addition, the Cookie College, it gets a private group where there's about 1,000 people that are really strategic. If you are like, I feel weird posting in cookie groups because I feel unprotected, or I have to post anonymously, or I'm not getting the answers I want, or get a bunch of virtue signaling, or, join the Cookie College group. You're going to get a whole different tier of answers.
It's a different vibe. It's a strategic approach versus I would never do that. Like, that's not where you're going to see in the Cookie College as far as the comments go.
It's very safe. The content I have to delete there is few and far in between. And even if then it just was like landed differently. Yeah. It was not attacking. It was very like, hey, like somebody yesterday was like, I typoed and I put a product half price when I should have doubled the price. What should I do? And people were like, hey, listen, here's what I do. I'd honor it. Here's what I'd write to those clients. And then here's how I adjust that. So thecookiecollege.com, if you want to learn more about that. It is a lot. It is overwhelming. But I like to think it's the Buc-ee's overwhelming. You're like, there's so much here.
But I love it.
But you wanted the bathrooms, you wanted the nuggets.
Yes.
And then you wanted the gas. And that's where we can like kind of partner you up with the material that you want. But our job is to keep it fresh and exciting and welcoming. So it does get pretty overwhelming. But every second Monday of the month, I do a Facebook Live on how
and that's Heather's welcome to Buc-ee's.
Welcome to the Cookie College. So you can learn more about that at thecookiecollege.com. If you missed any of those February freebies from the beginning of this month, they are available there. They're included in that membership at no additional cost. Or they're also in the digital downloads for $10.
Nice. Either or. Now that takes us to the stupid questions.
I always get that one out of what?
So the stupid questions is, no question is stupid, I promise you. But it's actually sponsored by the Stupid Car Tray, which is the coolest little gadget. It actually levels out your passenger seat. So if you're delivering cookies, if you're taking them somewhere, cake people, that's great for you. It's a great way to level out the passenger seat. It actually has Velcro that you can tie around your boxes so it doesn't budge if you're a crazy driver like Heather, which I experienced.
Did you take a picture of it in your passenger seat with cookies on it?
I can.
Like you. We got 9.
9. I got to choose a number. I'm feeling 7-ish.
7-ish it is. This is a texting question to 571-556-5644. That's who you text in. And the winner is 260. 260. Email Heather at sugarcookiemarketing.com with the rest of your phone number, and I'll give you the form to fill out to get that stupid card tray. You have 7 days.
7 days.
Our tray was claimed last week.
Oh, what?
Karen Gordon. She was like, yeah,
good for her.
I was like, that was a very funny story. Remember, she was the one who got the 3,000 cookies. Hello, twins. I'm sending a text again for a chance to win a stupid card tray, but also I'm interested in some help. If she just sent the text like that, she'd still have
a twofer. I love it.
So might as well shoot your shot. I have been running school DIY kit fundraisers for the last 2 years. I use the cookie class kits, and people love them as DIY kits, which is a great way to use those class kits. If you don't want to teach them, make them a DIY kit. A do-it kit. I have been fairly successful, but I'm always looking to make it better. I've noticed that parents have really negative feelings about the word fundraiser because the schools are always asking for more money from them. I'm really trying to promote them as a family fun activity. I'm looking for a way to change my marketing from a fundraiser to something more positive. Do you have any ideas on how to promote them without the negative feeling of just another fundraiser? Also, I love you both. You have changed my cookie business, and I love every minute of it. I'm so thankful to have found the podcast and the Cookie College. Carly from Indy.
Carly. Thank you, Carly.
From Carrie and Indy. Sorry.
Carrie and Carly, Indy.
Carly's a cute name too.
A name that I've seen, you're right, the word fundraiser is thrown rampant in the school districts.
We're in the middle of Girl Scout conversation.
Yeah. If you're doing a fundraiser, instead, you could say cookies for a cause. That's a way to spin it, that we're still doing fundraising, but cookies for a cause kind of separates it from the word fundraising, which seems overwhelming and exhausting, to cookies for a cause, and then you change your cause. So whatever you're trying to fundraise for, you can switch it and kind of market it cookie specific.
I like that because you told us what it was in the name. So fundraiser is like, okay, selling wallpaper,
Could you sell
selling
pizza,
mattresses,
popcorn, wrapping paper,
chocolate bars. The cookies for a cause is I know I get this cookie. And then you can, the next sentence, instead of the next sentence telling you what it is, it can be the sales pitch. Like do it yourself, decorate cookies at home with your kids.
While also supporting X, Y, and Z in their efforts to do blah.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
I can't even think. I'd have to almost think about that for a couple hours.
That's the peak of my...
That was good. I'm going to say that was...
Anything I would say after that would be...
I'm looking around here and I'm like, that was good. That was good. Let me read another one of these. Again, if you guys want to... So, Carrie, she won. So she gets this. She has 7 days to claim it. I guarantee she is because she just texted into that. If you want to win, if you want to every 7 days, we drop a new podcast on Tuesdays and somebody wins a stupid card tray from stupidtech.com, which if you want one and you didn't win, you can still get 15% off with code SUGAR.
Yeah, but if you're like, you know what? I kind of want to win one. Just text it in. Or sometimes when you're on a podcast, it says you can, what is that called when you...
It says text me, I think.
Is it text me or is it like send something, a fan?
Send something.
Fan message.
There's a button on Spotify that you can text in a podcast. Yeah. And this is one of those that somebody did this.
Oh, nice.
Hi again. It's Debbie of Many Questions. I know Debbie because she was on vacation in like the Turks and Caicos, but she won a stupid card tray.
Jealous.
Yes. Thanks for the invite, Deb. Thanks for always enlightening me with your marketing wisdom. It's always helpful. So you responded to a person's questions saying if you send a photo to a customer the night before pickup, what if they don't like them? Do you redo it in the short window by staying up till 2 a.m.? What if they wish that the shade of color was different? It's partly because your camera's lighting. It seems like you might be creating more work for yourself. From Albany, New York.
So I have done, over the years, I always send it. So I can tell you what actually works.
There's a huge school of people who are like, don't send, and a huge school of people that do send. And Corrie do send, and she's going to tell you why, because I've asked the same question.
Yeah. The reason why I do send is I have misspelled some names before. And it's
Did you do that recently?
Yeah. It's given me the opportunity to fix it before having to refund the whole thing. So it's in my mind a chance for me to save the sale versus being like they show up at the door and there's no chance to fix it. Mm-hmm. Also, I allow them to use that picture when they want to post about it to their friends and family or on community groups, because pictures do sell. The better the picture, the more sales you make. So I'm like, feel free to use this photo.
Would you add a disclaimer like, please factor in lighting is different from my camera to your cookies?
You could absolutely do that. It comes down to, if you're worried about this part, it's because there's something over here you didn't
There were lack of communication to dial in the colors.
Yeah. So when I'm talking to them, I'm like, what colors would you like to use? Do you mind sending me the invitation? Because you telling me canary blue is different than what I could see canary blue being as. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of communication that needs to go through. If you're like, I really need the colors to be specific to my invite, I'll be like, hey, Heather, do you mind sending me the invitation so I can make sure I get to them as close as possible?
I'm gonna push some people here.
Okay.
Right? If you say, well, I know that my camera's lighting is changing the colors here, Lightroom allows you to adjust that back. Yeah. So it does require a little not base user click and send. Uh-huh. You're going to say, okay, I know the color that she requested is the color I produce. My camera's altered this. I'm going to take it back into Lightroom and I'm going to make those pinks back to the shade that I know that the customer wanted because I want because the camera adds 10 pounds. Yeah. It also adds 10 colors.
You want everything you photograph to be true to color to what you're visually seeing. Right. I'm not going to send something that has over the contrast has been turned up because that's going to darken everything that's in that photo. And it's not going to be portraying what I actually made. Mm-hmm. So if my photography isn't dialed in, maybe I would say, I'm not going to send it quite yet.
Yeah. Maybe I'd work on my photography rather than always being like, if I send this, I'm going to get pushback because my photography is not dialed in. So instead of fixing my photography, I'm going to...
Also, the verbiage when you send it, it's not like, hey, do you like this set?
I agree. Say, I'm so excited to show you the set. Here's a preview of it.
I always say, I am so excited to show this to you. I think we really, truly nailed it down.
Corey's guide. Well, here's what you need to say.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think we nailed it. I truly think we did. I hope you love them as much as I love them. What we captured in here, and I go back to their order form, you really wanted blah, blah, and blah. And then I did blah, blah, and blah to support that.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah, so.
Oh, Deb, there you go, girl.
Yeah, if you're questioning the way that if you're like, hey, I hope you like these.
Then it's a whole, like, some people are like, do you ask people how they like the cookies after you send them out? No. Because you just ask somebody for their opinion, and opinions are like bum heinies. Yeah. We all have one.
Yeah.
I always tell Corey, if you ask someone their opinion, they're going to form one because you asked them to.
Yeah, just even if they didn't have one before, they're like, I don't
Sometimes
know.
I think people are like, did you like them? Please tell me I'm good at my
job.
But
so a part of car sales is assuming the sale. Mm-hmm. You're going to love this vehicle. It's got the 4 tires that you wanted when you walked in, and you're going to drive away on them. If I come to you and I'm like, I hope you like this car. I know it's not exactly what you wanted, but it has the sunroof.
You're right. It's not that Mercedes. It's a Mazda.
Yeah.
So I like that guiding them. Corey's pro sending that picture. It saved her some time. And okay, well, you're going to be up till 2 a.m. No, sometimes you're just giving them a refund and said, I still hear the cookies.
Absolutely.
And that's embarrassing. Egg on your face, but it was going to be egg on your face, and they had no other options.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I've just seen a few more benefits from sending the photo than I have from not sending the photo.
Do you send it for every order?
Yes.
Oh, you do?
I do. One, it forces me as a marketer to have stuff to market.
Yes.
So if I have to take the photo, I'm going to have content. It's never going to be something that leaves my house and I'm like, well, I didn't get to catch a photo of it. So I have more content to work with. You've seen how many photos that I have seen. And sometimes I'm working skin of my teeth with time. The cookies are laid out. The reason why they're laid out is because they're wet still. But I'm getting a photo so I can have it, so I can send it. So sometimes I can stage it. I got enough time. Sometimes I don't.
Work more efficiently. Listen to the podcast and pull a Buc-ee's.
Yes.
More efficiently. Last one I'll read. Constant here. I'm a newish Cookie College member. Oh, Cookie College showing up, showing out. I keep trying to guess if Corey's going to pick a high number or a low number for the stupid card tray, and I continue to fail miserably.
Friend, I just want to say, I remember if I do a low number. So if I chose a low number last time, I'm going to try to choose a high number.
You picked 7 today? Is that low or high to you?
Because you gave me 9, it was a high number.
Okay. I thought you were going to be like 33. I'm like, no, there's only 9.
Yeah, I try to jump around so no one feels like I have a favorite number.
Well, here's the thing. She actually texted in twice, so she had 2 chances to win. Right. Like, don't send me the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and 26 different texts. But my question is about artificial free food colorings. Do you think it's a good business move to offer natural options along with artificial ones? How would you avoid the confusion about that if you're a dye-free baker or not, if you plan to offer both? How would you handle pricing differences and adding that option to an order form? Thanks for all you do for cookies. And then she voted for the cat's name as Cash. And that was our poll last week. However, the cat is not a Cash. If he was cool, yes.
He's a little nerdy.
Quirky.
He's quirky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's finally given up on meowing.
So I named him Mr. Munch.
Mr. Munch. Munchie.
Munchie, for sure. Okay, with that question, I actually posted yesterday that I am now offering dye-free in addition to my typical food coloring.
You did.
It
I
went
like
over
how you positioned
very
it.
well.
Right. So what Corey's saying is, instead of saying like we have dye-free and we have not, you want to dye? Do you want dye-free?
Yeah.
Like, do you not, Corey's like, hey guys, I have a new option that is open to you guys. I think Wegmans our Wegmans, if you guys have one of those, they went only dye-free. I like the option of giving people options.
There will be a price difference. Mm-hmm. Dye-free food coloring is expensive.
It's also a learning curve, you said.
It is a learning curve as well because the colors can fade after you use them. So what is great about using forms and having a website is you can have them choose sugar cookies. Mm-hmm. And then within that form, they can have a drop down. A variant is what it's called. And they could choose dye-free. And from that, it would adjust the pricing.
But the verbiage would need to very much explain that they are these cool pastels. Yes. It's not these punchy colors. Wegmans, when you go to the bakery section now, they are not dye at all.
Yeah, they have no.
So there's a little placard for a long time, and probably still there, and it says, we use dye-free food coloring. As such, our colors are not as bright.
Yeah, because they used to be super bright. Then when they went dye-free, it's very pastel. Yeah. So my planning, and this is going to cost me time and money, but is going to make me more money in the long run, is my plan this week or next week is to make 2 identical sets. One using my traditional Americolors, one using dye-free.
Would you, from a website perspective, I do like the fewer products, the better, but I would almost separate those 2 out so that the dye-free listing explains a lot of it. Because I don't think people are going to be like, I want sugar cookies, and they'd be like, oh, shoot, there's a dye-free option.
Yeah.
I think they'd be like, I want dye-free sugar cookies. And having a dedicated page on your website with
honestly,
the product there.
I got to agree. I think people come to me and they already have made up their mind they want dye-free.
Because I think we got to think of the motivation of the end user.
Yeah.
The end user isn't like, oh yeah, add to cart, dye-free. I wasn't even thinking about that. The dye-free user is searching for they're just to me like the gluten-free user. The gluten-free obviously has medical condition. They can't. But I think the dye-free person is actually coming from that same space where I think this is healthier for what I want. Mm-hmm. And I think they would search a website and they'd look for dye-free. They wouldn't be like sugar cookies. Oh, shoot.
I think that's a good user experience. They call that UX. So if you know that people are coming to my thing just turned off, my little...
Just keep talking.
All right. If you know that people are coming to your website and they know that they want dye-free, don't hide it as an option because you're going to lose them as a client. If people are wanting that, especially because Wegmans around here is offering it, people know that it exists in the world, giving it as its own page, its own primetime real estate, you're going to make more sales.
I like it. Okay, wrapping this up. If you guys want to text into the Stupid Car Tray Stupid Question segment, it's 571-556-5644. If you don't like trying to guess where Corey's going to pick and you just want to buy one, you can get 15% off. That's a stackable code, meaning if they're running any promotions on top of that, you can get additional 15% off by using code SUGAR, which takes us to our podcast sponsors.
Yeah.
That is one, Stupid Car Tray. Thank you. We also have Eddie, the edible food printer. We talked about him in terms of efficiency, not cheap, not on sale, no discounts. $3,000, definitely an investment. Definitely something to consider if you're like differentiator, and that differentiator per Buc-ee's is efficiency. Corrie and her Eddie have paid for each other and then.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I've opened my airbrush machine because Eddie does that. So when you have an airbrush, you got to clean it. It gets clogged. You got to have a million stencils. You got to clean the stencils. They're air dried. You got to find a place to put them. Eddie has alleviated a lot of that turmoil and time.
Yeah, so the Eddie direct-to-food printer, like that's exactly how it works. You can go see it on preview in their Eddie Printers users group on Facebook or on Instagram. If you just want to say, I don't want the Q&A, I don't want the help desk questions, I just want to see what this bad boy can do, you could go check that out. I'm going to say, somebody said, should I buy one? Like, somebody asked this question. They were like, hey, I want one. I want one. I know that you don't just buy it and they come, you have to go market it. And she was like, but it's not cheap. And I was like, hey, at the end of the day, he has he has the benefit of those corporate orders, right? But he also has a benefit of efficiency. Even if you never sold a corporate order, you're still buying back sometime. Yeah. Now, the corporate order is going to pay for him.
For sure.
Right? That I'm not using airbrush anymore. That would take many an order to get there. But he still has that secondary benefit of that efficiency thing.
Yeah. And a lot of cookie cutter shops are now creating graphics for Eddie specifically. So it's really coming around. A lot of people are buying into
I'm glad that the industry has finally opened their hearts, minds, and souls and wallets to accept that Eddie was a good addition.
Yes. Now he's way more common than he used to be. So now I'm like, oh, I see that's Eddie printed for sure. Got to find that graphic.
Like, it's Eddie printed. We hate the Eddie, and it's cutting out the artwork out of it. Now really, that's Eddie printed. They're like, oh, how do I get one?
Yeah,
take out a second mortgage.
I know. And if Eddie would have taken some backlash at the beginning and shut it down.
Imagine if they were like, well, it seems like people don't like it, so we're just gonna get rid of it.
Yeah, don't be that. Be a Buc-ee.
They tripled down. They're like, we're going to be selling these
here. Next up is the Backers Co. The Backers Co. is a food photography backdrop that transforms your home. Honestly, I have a lot of very dark kitchen, so what I use is these 23 by 23 inch backdrops to take my food photography on. They're great because they're food safe, they're matte, they're waterproof, scratch resistant. So I mean, if you see a photo that I've taken and there's a cookie on there, it has been taken on a backdrop. I don't just put it on my granite countertop with all my little crumblies on there and snap a photo anymore. It's definitely trying to get better photos because I know I'm not the best baker. So
my little sister, she didn't want to go with us to the trip. We also didn't invite her. So she came over to my grandma's house and made some muffins or something that she found from Pinterest and took a picture. And Corey's like, I hated your photos. And she's like, yeah, I didn't have the backdrop.
I said, what do we call them, these bad boys?
And so I was like, I really need to work on my food photography because they didn't look as good as they tasted.
I know.
And that's an interesting thing. And I think kind of with the Buc-ee's, like, you know what Buc-ee's is because of the pictures of it. I mean, just the endless.
Yeah.
I think your photography can also get dialed in there because your product can be phenomenal and your photography ruin it.
Yeah. So if you wanted to partake and test out the Backers Co., they rebranded, you can use code Sugar Cookie and it will save you 20%. I always suggest starting off with white matte finish. Super white matte finish is great. You can dress it up, you can dress it down, you can use it as itself, you can stage it. It's a great starter one to start with. And that's why they always sell out of that one, because that's the one I sing.
Hey, you gotta have your flagship.
You gotta have a star-studded one that people want to buy.
Last but never least, Bakety Bake from Royal
Switch
Batch
that.
from Bakety Bake is a meringue powder. Code TWINS, 10% off, right? Save you on shipping. Corey loves it. I think now the cookie class people use it.
There's a lot of people that use it. What's great is I bought some of the 2-ounce packets, and they're so cutely branded. You know, I'm a sucker for brand.
It's very pink and fun.
Yeah, so if you wanted to test it out, you can test it out without having to buy a pound or the 5-pound bag. You can just get a 2-ounce bag and really test with it. I made a reel about it yesterday, and someone asked for my specific recipe, so I took the time to type it out. So if you want that recipe, you can go to the Sugar Cookie Marketing _ on Instagram. It's in the comment section there, and that's exactly what I use. My recipe does is allows it to crust a little slower. So for us who are slower decorators, who are flooding and need to have time to fix any issues, it helps there. It also helps alleviate any color bleed. So that I know is frustrating across any brand of meringue powder. It's really making sure that it's stabilized enough that it doesn't allow for the color bleed.
I heard someone say, once you go bake to bake, you don't go back.
Agreed.
Yeah, I guess it really does have. And I'm not the baking twin. I just read the threads about what people say. And I think Wilton's is phasing
It's harder to find, so a lot of people are searching.
I don't like that. I'm a consumer who, if I can't find the product that I want, I'm start panicking.
I know.
Like when I start like having to search and hunt and peck, I'm like, no, I'm finding something else.
I know. I don't like to relearn something new. So when Sweet Tooth Fairy from Michael's went out, now they offered a new one. I feel like I'm starting from ground zero.
So if you want to check out Bakety Bake because you're a Wilton's user and the Wilton's is getting hard
and now Joann's is going out, and they used to sell a lot of the Wilton's product.
Really? Wow. Yeah, I knew Joann's was going. I didn't know they sold the Wilton products. Corey went to Joann's and said it was the wasteland.
It was crazy. It was
They're
wild.
closing all of them now.
Yeah.
They had some. They had one gentrified Joann's in our area, and it was really nice. And you could teach classes at it.
I know.
But that one's going on.
Yeah. But you can use code TWINS to save 10% on Royal Batch at baketybake.com if you want to try it out.
It's very well pronounced.
Thank you. I said a lot of times in my reel yesterday, so I knew I had to say that.
Do you have Twinterest?
Do you have a Twinterest?
This little guy over here.
Yeah, I love him.
He is a funny little cat.
He is a funny little kitten.
He has a quirky attitude.
He is.
Catitude.
Here's
a funny thing. He's a kitten. I haven't had a kitten in years.
Yeah.
Years and years. I usually like me. I like me an
established fella.
Give me a cat who's seen life.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a kitten. He's not seen anything. But it's funny. Every time someone walks in a room, he runs and hides. And then when he realizes you're leaving, he'll run and chase you to be like, please don't leave. I'm so sorry about that.
I kind of like getting the ant feeling, an aunt, where I get to have the best parts of him and then leave.
You didn't have to cut the poop nugget out of his fur this morning.
Right. So that was a blessing for me.
Yeah. We're trying to figure out. Kitten, I had these automatic cat
poo-poo potties.
Yeah, that, it advertised on TikTok oddly, but it's really neat. It's meow want. But I didn't realize it has a weight minimum. Like, because if the cat's in there and it starts turning on it, the cat's going to be traumatized.
Yeah.
So still trying to figure out what to do with this guy. He's a little too little.
I guess my Twinterest is Sugar Cookie Marketing on TikTok finally got accepted into the Creator Rewards program.
Woohoo! Lunch on Corey.
Listen, you sell your soul to get those views. But
do you fall out of it once you get in it?
I think you can fall out of it. Here's the thing. It's based on the amount of qualified views. Qualified views, if you're a follower than me and you're clicking to my profile to see my new content, that's not a qualified view. Oh. It has to end up on your For You page.
Truly, the churn and burn.
How long they watch it, and your video has to be over a minute.
Yeah.
Do you know how much talking for a minute?
The algae giveth and taketh.
Oh, yeah. But we ended up making $50 so far. Not bad. $50.
That's great. That could be somebody's whole class day.
Yeah, for sure. And diversifying your income. So I've really enjoyed seeing what hits, what doesn't hit. Yeah. A lot of time it's controversial clickbait content.
Which we don't really want to lean into. Corey and I were like, how can we get more followers? And we're like, controversy. And we're like, do we want them? No. Well, darn it. I gotta just keep producing.
I know. But I'm going to study more into the Creators Reward program just to see it diversifying your income. If you're already making the reels,
we talk about it. You become the slave to the content generation.
And what's crazy is there's bakers out there with hundreds and thousands and millions of followers that aren't posting anymore. So there's something
about where it's not paying
great.
What we think it is.
Yeah.
Because if it was, again,
you'd be there.
That's what I always say. When there's no competition, there's a red flag.
So I know there's something out there that's a little negative to it that maybe you get.
Probably they want to see, like, I haven't seen my kids in 3 years.
I'm still making content, nothing taken off. Yeah, you don't know if it's going to take off.
That would break your spirit. And I see that people are like, hey, I posted this, and one time I went viral and I cannot get it to hit again.
You're always chasing that
high.
So far away.
Also, we worked on the new website.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, if you guys want to check it out, that could be my Twinterest, Sugar Cookie Marketing. Oh, www.sugarcookiemarketing.com.
Yeah, the platform we have, you have to type in www.
No, you don't have to. It only honors it. I'm working on the redirects. Though.
I see.
The problem, like, if you go to a website and you leave off the www and it doesn't take you anywhere, there's a redirect issue. Me, redirects, HTTP, HTTPS, like, I know what I'm doing, but when I get there, I'm like, what do I do with my hands? But I'm close. But you can check it out at www.sugarcookiemarketing.com.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you. Appreciate Buc-ee's. Appreciate the man who made Buc-ee's, Mr. Beaver.
Thank you, Beaver. Thank you, Beaver. That was great.
Appreciate it.
All right. We'll see you next week.